Hey guys, this is a full step-by-step tutorial on how to set up your Klaviyo account, especially if you're a new e-commerce store that's moving over from another platform over to Klaviyo, or just a new e-commerce store in general and you're starting to build an email list and get some email marketing running. This is going to be a perfect video for you. Let's get straight into it. What are we going to be covering? First off, just the basics like the Klaviyo setup, making sure everything is integrated with Shopify correctly. That's super important for obvious reasons. How to enable add to cart tracking. That's going to enable you to actually build out the abandoned cart flow. It's super important again. How to turn off double opt-in when people actually sign up. And if you already have an email list and CSV of lots of email contacts, I'm going to show you where to actually upload those and how to do that correctly. We're also going to go over the pop-ups. What's the best pop-up template to use, whether you're targeting email or email and SMS or just SMS. Going to go through that. We're going to go through why splitting them up to mobile and desktop versions is a really good idea, and some of the best practices, pop-up settings. I'm going to go through that with you as well. Flows, we're going to just go over flows. What are flows? What are the triggers, flow filters, all of that. Why you need to turn off smart sending, and some of the core flows you want to implement ASAP. And just lastly, going over campaigns, how to set up a campaign, some universal blocks, what they are, what they do, some things you can do with those, some of the best send times, and a simple campaign strategy to follow, especially if you are completely new to email marketing. We're going to cover all of this right now, so let's get into it. If you don't know me, my name's Kieran. I'm the founder of Compound Flows. We're actually a marketing agency that specializes in email marketing, more specifically in Klaviyo email marketing. So we've done this for a ton of brands already. Just to name a few: Heavy Glare, Warrior, Horse Class, Hood Hats, and B2B Los Angeles. So here's some results. We actually added just shy of $40,000 onto a brand's email revenue in less than 60 days. Here's another example. We took a brand from 18K to over 31K just in email revenue. And lastly, another example where we actually added $147,000 over a 5-month period since we started working with this brand as well. Now, I do have a lot of social media links: LinkedIn, X, and of course YouTube right here. Make sure you're subscribing. But let's get onto it. We do actually have a really good offer for you if you are just setting up Klaviyo, where we actually will build you out a flow for free for your e-commerce store. More details on that at the end of this video. And if you need help at any point in this video, maybe I skip over something or don't explain something in as much detail as you want, please email me at kieran@compoundflows.com and I'll sort you out. I'll probably send you back a custom Loom video on what exactly you need help with. So please feel free, email me there if you have any trouble at all throughout this video. So let's get straight into it. Klaviyo setup, the basics when you get this down pat. So first off, integration. So again, obviously this is really important. If you don't have this set up correctly, it's going to mess up a lot of things, especially like the abandoned site flow and the abandoned browse flow. Something like turning on this Klaviyo app embed or just making sure it is on is really super important. So yeah, let me show you how to do that. So this is what it kind of looks like in the theme page editor inside of Shopify. So let's go into Shopify and just make sure this is on. Okay, so let's just say we're in Shopify. We've gone down to online store, then themes. You just want to click customize right here. And then you just want to go over to app embeds over here on the left. Click that and just make sure Klaviyo is turned on. So basically what this is going to do is going to track people cookied into our system, whether they come onto the website or if they click or view a product. Again, that's going to be really helpful to be creating flows down the line. So once you've made sure that's turned on, everything's all good, click save on the theme editor, of course. You want to go back into Klaviyo just in the settings or the integrations tab and make sure this green tick is ticked, all turned on, all looking green. So in Klaviyo, you just want to go down here to the bottom left, click integrations, and then you just want to click on Shopify right here. And then once it loads, you want to make sure this is enabled up the top and come down make sure this is ticked and make sure you have a nice green arrow right there, not arrow, tick, that everything is enabled, everything's working. Again, Shopify, when you're installing Klaviyo, most of this stuff is done automatically, but very good just to double check, make sure it's all working, and having some data getting pulled through into Klaviyo. Come through here, make sure this is all syncing up. Now, another little trick you can do to have a lot more people subscribing into your email list is making sure this little tick here is automatically ticked for when customers actually go and check out. So again, this is really good because it's going to opt in a lot of really active customers that have already bought before. So they already know us, they already like us. Hopefully if the product's good, but just making sure this is automatically checked off already when people come through the checkout is a really easy way to opt in a lot more subscribers. So let's go over to the Shopify settings now and just show you how to do that. Okay, so in the Shopify settings, obviously you just click settings, you'll come to this page, go to checkout, the tab here, scroll down to marketing options, and just make sure email is selected, and of course the pre-selected is all ticked off, and you're good to go. Okay, so now that the integration is all set up, there is one small little step to do here, and that's enabling add to cart tracking. So Klaviyo is already able to see who lands on the website, see who clicks on a product, and see who checks out with what item. But the step we're still missing here is tracking people that click the add to cart button. So we're gonna have to insert a snippet of code to actually track people that do this. And we do have to do this manually because every theme for every store is a bit different. And Klaviyo can't automatically integrate this into their system. So we will need to add in a snippet of code depending on what type of theme you use. Luckily for you, the way I'm about to show you right now works for about 90% of stores using any type of basic type of theme. And just to explain a bit more why this is important, you have an abandoned checkout flow and you also have an abandoned cart flow. So the difference between these two flows is the abandoned cart flow can follow up with customers that click the add to cart button and then leave the store. And the abandoned checkout flow is where we're able to follow up and remind people that click the checkout button and then leave your store, get distracted, whatever the reason may be. So there's a big difference here, but we can track both types of people that are down the sales funnel by adding in this snippet of code. So let's get straight into it. Okay, first step, what you want to do here is search up and find this article by Klaviyo titled How to Create an Added to Cart Event for Shopify. Really important because this is where you're going to actually get the snippet of code to paste into the theme page editor. So again, the method I'm going to show you is going to work for about 90% of stores using a basic type of theme. So just scroll down here, and what you want to do is come to this first snippet of code and copy all of this. Click copy, and then let's go back to the Shopify theme page editor. And once you're back into the theme page editor inside of Shopify and you've got that snippet of code copied, you just want to go up to the top here, homepage, products, and then default product with the star. Click on that. And then basically what you want to do is scroll down to the bottom where the footer section is, add section, and then you want to search up custom liquid. So it may not already pop up, so you may have to search it up, but custom liquid. And then up here on the top right, you just want to paste that in and click save. Once that's all done, you want to go back and test it. So make sure you're logged in and opted into your email marketing using the same web Chrome browser, all of that. And then click a few items to cart and go back into Klaviyo. Okay, once you're back into Klaviyo and you've clicked on the website, you've opted in and made sure you're using an email address that is opted into email marketing, and you've clicked on a few products, add them to cart. What you want to do here is go into Klaviyo profiles, search up your name, and then click your profile. So in this instant, Kieran, and then you just want to go down and check all of the metrics here and see if you've got the add to cart metric. If so, congrats, everything's working really, really well. If you want to double check this, you want to go over to flows, create flow, and then search up added, or go to prevent lost sales, and then go down to the abandoned cart reminder right down here where it says added to cart trigger. Click on that. And if you've got the two green ticks here, again, just double checking, that means you're all good to go. Now, if you've tested this multiple times and it still isn't working, the add to cart metric isn't popping up, or maybe you weren't able to, add in the custom liquid or something weird happened, try to continue down that Klaviyo article because there is 2 other snippet of codes that you can try if you're using some type of weird theme. But if not, and you're still having trouble with it, please, again, email me at kieran@compoundflows.com and I'll send you a custom Loom video back on how to fix that, because it does become a little bit complicated, and it actually depends what type of button the add to cart is on your theme. So hopefully that works. Again, that will work for 90% of people, but let's move on here. If you're having trouble, please email me. Okay, so the next thing is to disable double opt-in. So what is double opt-in? It's basically when you sign up to someone's email list and you get an email saying, hey, do you want to confirm and subscribe? And people will have to open up their email, click on it, and then wait again for the actual welcome email to come through. So as you can tell, this is a huge thing that slows down the process of new people signing up and creates a lot of friction. And therefore you'll have a lot less people actually opt in and actually sign up, which is really bad for any type of list growth if you want to grow your email list. Now there is only 2 reasons where I would recommend actually leaving this on. Number 1 is being like a big bot attack. So that happens sometimes where a bunch of fake email addresses actually start getting signed up to your newsletter. And when you start sending to a lot of fake email addresses, that can really hurt email deliverability. Your bounce rates go up and your sender score diminishes. And if you're just seeing a lot of people sign up with fake email addresses, trying to get the discount code off the pop-up, because some people leave a discount code directly on the pop-up and don't make people come into the welcome email and find it. That could happen quite a lot. Again, you just want to make sure of that and do a audit of your list growth and make sure there's not a lot of bots and people actually opening up your emails, and you don't have super high bounce rates on your email campaigns or flows. By super high bounce rates, I mean over 1%. That is pretty damaging to your email deliverability. So again, that's only 2 ways I would recommend that. But now let's show you where to actually turn this off and how to actually disable it. Okay, so to disable double opt-in, what you want to do is go back into Klaviyo, list and segments, and you want to go to your main newsletter, or where most of all the email opt-ins are coming in. So once we actually set up a pop-up, again, we'll go over that in just a sec. But if all your email subs are coming in through and into one list, this is a list where you want to disable it, or just disable it on all types of lists. But usually for most people, it's just the newsletter right here. So you want to click the 3 dots and go to list settings. And then you just want to go over to, again, settings, and then consent down the bottom here. And then scroll down and make sure this is turned on to single opt-in. Now it says recommended, but again, I would only recommend that if you are having like bot attacks or a lot of people signing up using fake email addresses. To really boost your email list growth and get as many people opting in as possible, highly recommend just single opt-in and saving that up the top here. Okay, last thing I wanted to cover here, just setting up Klaviyo, all the basic things, is if you are moving over from another email platform, let's say MailChimp, over to Klaviyo, you probably have a large export CSV of lots of email contacts that are still, wanting to hear from you. So what you can do is, again, upload this list manually instead of restarting all over again. So again, you just want to go over to list and segments, create new, and then create list. And then let's just say test list, and let's click create. And then it gives you a few options here. So if you do have a large CSV file, you want to click on upload contacts. You can also create a sign up form or like a pop-up, which again, we'll get to in just a second. And Klaviyo also does a thing where you can create and customize like opt-in pages. So you can actually create like a little landing page almost and opt people in from there. For this example, if you want to upload a big CSV, you just want to go to upload contacts, and then this will have like a bit of a Dropbox where you can drop in that CSV. Make sure, obviously, everything's mapped correctly inside the CSV file. If you want to open it up in Excel, and make sure that you've got the email and first name, last name, and then any other relevant data that you can map to. Because after you upload this, you can map each things to what. So just make sure that's all neat, and Klaviyo can read that, and it should be golden. All right, let's move on to pop-ups. What are the best templates to use in Klaviyo? How to create a really clean template. We're just going to cover the basics here today, especially if you are getting set up. But basically, Klaviyo gives you a lot and lots of different templates for email and SMS. If you are going to do email and SMS, I would recommend a multi-step pop-up. And what I mean by that is a pop-up that has multiple steps. So first, it would ask them for their email. Again, we want to create low friction here. So we're only making the customer fill in one detail at a time instead of popping them up with 5 different things to fill out. And then usually the next step is asking for the SMS with a greater offer. And then the last step is always just like a little success page instructing the customer to go to their email, or maybe we put the code here, whatever we want them to do. That's the last step typically. So in sign-up forms, you want to create a new form, and it'll give you a bunch of templates to use. Again, if you want to go to just email, you just want to collect emails, click up here, collect emails. And the one that I usually use most is this one right here. So this is a really clean, high converting one. We can put a nice image here, maybe like a lifestyle image, and then a nice clear header up the top here with a nice, easy, big button to click. If you just want to collect SMS, again, just go up to the categories and collect phone numbers. For this one, you can really pick anything and just customize it to look really neat. But if you did want to go over and collect both at the same time, again, I would recommend a nice multi-step pop-up. So something like this is what I usually use as well. Now, I did mention at the start of the video, actually splitting these pop-ups to mobile and desktop is super important for 2 main reasons. One, you can optimize each device's liking. So just to remove that clunkiness feel, I guess, Klaviyo does do a pretty good job of, optimizing it for desktop and mobile automatically. But it always is best practice just to create 2 separate forms here, just to, again, remove that clunkiness feel. And the other major reason you want to split these up is actually A/B testing. So obviously, mobile and desktop users do react differently with something popping up on their device. And you want to A/B test that more accurately by splitting up these pop-ups by themselves. So I want to actually show you how to split up these pop-ups to just mobile and just desktop, as well as a few other really good pop-up settings that I would recommend to give you a good head start. So back into Klaviyo now. What we're seeing here is just a mobile pop-up set to just mobile only. So how I've done that is gone into targeting and behavior. And what I've done is scroll down and just clicked mobile only. So that's, again, just going to show up on just mobile devices. Some other good settings you want to do here is click and uncheck this click on outside form to close. I don't know if you can see that or if my head's in the way. But you want to make sure that's unchecked. And the reasoning behind that is if people are scrolling down their phone and the pop-up pops up, and they're still mid-scroll and touch the screen outside the pop-up, it will close it out. And if you don't have a teaser enabled for mobile, which I don't really recommend because mobile screens are already small enough, that will close out the pop-up, and people won't really have any way to get back in and opt into the email marketing. So highly recommend unchecking click outside form to close for mobile devices. Some other good settings is up the top here for frequency. Again, I'll change this down to like 3 days even. And some other settings is the actual delay time. Anywhere between 6 to 10 seconds is usually a good delay to have, or you can just do immediate pop-up. Again, I would A/B test this and make sure what works better for you and your brand and your audience, because every brand audience is different, obviously. You do want to A/B test the timing here really thoroughly. Last thing you want to check in your pop-up settings is make sure the targeting up here is set to don't show to existing Klaviyo profiles, meaning if someone already opts in to your email marketing, they won't be showing this offer or this pop-up to anyone that comes back onto the website. So that's kind of like the basic good settings to have. If you do want to create a highly aesthetic and high converting pop-up, highly recommend watching this video right here where I detail everything and go over even more best settings, best practices to have, where to place the button, where to place the exit out button, what to put on those different multi-steps. This video right here covers all of that, and highly recommend you watch that if you really want to learn a bit more about, again, how to actually optimize the conversion rate on pop-ups. Moving on to flows. So what are flows? Again, if you're not already familiar, they're basically just the email automations that you can set up that will be triggered on X, Y, and Z customer action. So this is what one kind of looks like. This is a really built out one. Usually the ones you build out aren't this complex, but typically flows are really important to have set up. They're kind of like the foundation of revenue that can be generated on autopilot once you got them set up. Of course, not completely set up and forget. Depending on the size of your store, you really want to be A/B testing these flows to make sure they're really optimized to your audience's liking. But yeah, really important to have. They generate around 20% of your total store revenue, which is crazy. And that can be done on autopilot essentially. Okay, and the next thing you really got to understand and know about flows is the triggers and the flow filters. So what a trigger is, basically it's what sets the flow live for a recipient after they take X, Y, and Z action. So for this example we're looking at, it's when someone adds something to cart. That when they do that, they will set the flow live for them and we'll start sending them emails. Now, flow filters is the other big key that you need to understand here. Basically what they are and what they do is they are a set of rules that disqualify and qualify people to enter a flow. So they make sure that you're not sending the wrong emails to the wrong people and only sending them to the most relevant people that are still active inside of the flow. So for an example here, a welcome flow, if you don't already know, this is a flow that sends emails to subscribers who opt in but haven't made a purchase yet. Meaning if they did make a purchase, we want to kick them out of this flow. So a really good flow filter to put in for this welcome flow is placed order 0 times since starting this flow. Meaning if they do place an order, that means they'll disqualify for this flow filter and get kicked out, seeing as they're not relevant for the welcome flow anymore. So it is really key to understand. It is a bit of a concept you do need to wrap your head around and really make sure you've got the correct flow filters in place. If not, you could be either limiting the amount of traffic that could be sent to a flow, or sending the wrong emails to the wrong people, and then people kind of get angry, they kind of get confused. So really important to get the correct flow filters here. Again, if you want to learn more about what flow filters go to which flow, I've got a huge hour-long tutorial on my YouTube channel that you can go find for every single flow under the sun. Moving on, smart sending. So this is something that Klaviyo has kind of invented that will block out any emails that are sent within the same time frame of another email. So for example, let's just say you send an email campaign and then you automatically send another welcome flow email. The welcome flow email will get blocked out if it's in the same time frame, and you can set that time frame. by default, it's 16 hours. Again, that helps customers not getting spammed or anything like that. So it is a good tool in practice, but for flow emails, because they're so intent based, you want to actually uncheck this and make sure people are getting their flow emails. Again, a really good example for this is if someone is in the abandoned checkout flow, they've just left an item at the checkout and they just need to be reminded. If you send an email campaign about something completely different, like a bestsellers campaign, and that will block out their abandoned checkout reminder email, that bestsellers campaign isn't super relevant to this person, and you would much rather them get sent the abandoned checkout email because they're so close to making that purchase and actually stepping over the line and becoming a customer. So it's really good just to uncheck these boxes here on every single flow email that you have, because again, these flow emails are going to be converting a lot higher typically than any random campaign that you send, just because they're so intent based. So just to do this, again, go into your flows, any type of flow, just click on an email and then click or uncheck the button here for skipped recently emailed profiles. And again, just make sure that's done on every single flow email unless there's some specific reason why you want to have that on. So the core flows you want to set up are the welcome flow, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, abandoned browse, and the post purchase. What I mean by core flows is that these are going to be your main revenue drivers. And this is the same across every type of e-commerce store and every kind of industry and niche. So you really want to set these up ASAP and get them up. They're going to be generating the most amount of revenue out of all your flows. And again, to add more flows onto your current system, I would only really recommend, depending on how much traffic you're driving or how much revenue you're driving from your store. But typically the smaller store you have, the little add-on flows, the little nice to have flows aren't going to be as necessary as these core flows up the top here. So again, really recommend just adding in these flows first, especially the welcome flow and the abandoned checkout. That's going to be driving the most amount of purchases possible. Okay, so campaigns. How to actually set up a campaign. Let's go into Klaviyo and I'll show you how to do that. So we're in Klaviyo. Obviously, you just want to click the campaigns tab up here, and then you want to create a new campaign. Campaign name is not anything special. It's just something to recognize the campaign email name by. So again, let's go test campaign and just click continue here. Then recipients. So what you want to choose here is which recipients you want to send to. And you can also choose here who you don't want to send to. And the last option here is the smart sending. Now for campaigns, I'll typically just recommend turning this on. So in case they did receive one of those flow emails, we don't want to send to the same customer twice in that time frame. We want to let the flow emails have first priority. But going back up to recipients, again, if you're just a small store, sending to your newsletter is fine. But if you are a bigger store, I'd highly recommend creating out some 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day engaged lists. If you have created a Klaviyo account just recently, these should already be pre-installed for you. So highly recommend sending to engaged lists. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I do have a video going over how to create these, and also an email on deliverability that you can also check out if you are having trouble landing in the inbox. For the don't send to selection here, if you create a segment of anyone that's bounced, suppressed, unsubscribed, highly recommend just creating a big segmented list just like that and sending it up to here, just to make sure you're not sending to any bad fake email addresses, because sometimes they can slip through the cracks with Klaviyo system. Always good practice just to do that, just in case. Okay, so moving on to the next slide here, you just want to click down at here in the bottom right, and this is where you'll actually build out your email campaign and its content. So you can add in your subject line, preview text. If you have a nice email design, that you want to implement, I'll use the drag and drop feature here. Or if you have a plain text email, something from the founder, you would choose the option here for text only. So any HTML text you just want to send through, kind of like a personal note. But yeah, Klaviyo has a bunch of templates here that you can use and you can edit. I would always recommend just creating a blank email. And again, if you have an email design in Figma or Canva, this is where you can upload those images, just like that. Again, I do have a video on how to upload Figma slices and email designs into Klaviyo using these image blocks. So I do, again, recommend checking that out because there is a right and a wrong way to do it. And it's always good just to have that down pat as well. Okay, so now that you know how to set up an email campaign, let's move over to universal blocks. So these are really going to be great to know and learn and get familiar with because they make the email creation process that much faster. Okay, so we're back into the Klaviyo editor here and just going over universal blocks. Basically what they are is blocks you can reuse over and over again. And how to create one is if you just wanted to reuse this image right here, you click on it, you click the star icon here, and you just create a name for that. And once that is all sorted, you go over to universal here, and let's just say I wanted to drag in the banner and the logo. I'll drag this in, and it will just plop in just like that. Really nice, quick, and easy. But the really cool thing about this is if you're using this on flow emails in particular, if you change, let's say the logo here or the text up here for the banner announcement, it will change on every single flow that has this universal block in place. That's a really quick, easy way to do things instead of having to go through each and every flow, changing this one little text, changing the offer up here. If you just use universal blocks for everything, especially for like really reusable, parts of your email here, like the header and the footer down the bottom, that's going to be super, super helpful and save you a ton of time. So please use universal blocks, especially for the top and bottom. So you can either make a universal block for, the image content here, or just the entire section of the email. So sections of emails are basically a clump of design elements or clump of blocks. By blocks, I mean all of these things here on the left. And you can just drag all of that in. With collection footers as well, this is really cool. As you can see, this is actually a bunch of different image blocks here that are all linked to different collections. Again, I can just reuse this on every email campaign, every email flow, and it just makes things super, super easy. Moving on, what are the best send times? So again, generally this depends from store to store, but if you want to create a really safe bet, I would send anywhere between like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekdays, avoiding Friday and Saturday night for obvious reasons. People are out, they're having fun, they're partying, and they're not going to be checking their emails. So again, you can't really go wrong with between 10 a.m. 3 p.m. weekdays, especially like Tuesday, Thursday. That's really high active times generally. Again, you want to A/B test this, and you can do that inside of your campaigns. So while we are on the topic of A/B testing, I just thought I would include this into the video. How to create this is just go back to this screen of the campaign and then create A/B test down the bottom here. And let's say we wanted to create a A/B test on two different subject lines. So we've got test A here. So that's the first version we've already created. And the B version right here, let's say we wanted to test whether or not an emoji is going to elicit more opens. So on the B test, we'll just delete that. And now we have two different tests here that we can send. And we can choose between, whether the winning metric is open rate or click rate. For a subject line test, it would make sense if we chose open rate here, because obviously the subject line is what makes people open the email. And percentage size, you always want to go like 100% here. So they do get split 50-50 evenly. especially for really smaller audiences. That's really good just to do. If you wanted to A/B test send times as well, you want to click this button up the top here. Again, and you can just change the send time here. And let's just change that to 3 p.m. top one. Midnight probably isn't the best time to send, but let's just say 10 a.m. So this would create an A/B test in sending in the morning versus sending in the afternoon. Or let's just make that like the evening, for example, 6 p.m. To make the test really different, and see which one wins, which time zone or time is your audience most active in. So that's really cool just to test. Moving on, a simple campaign strategy to follow. So if you're really new to email marketing and you're not really sure what you're doing, what you can do is just follow this really simple guide that I've put together. How many emails you want to be sending per week really just depends on your list size and how many active contacts you have. So for anyone that has between 10 to 50k active subscribers, I would recommend sending at least 2 to 3 emails per week. But if your list size is 50 to 100k or more active subscribers, I would typically recommend at least 3 to 5 emails per week. And you may be thinking, hey, that's a lot of emails. My audience doesn't want to get scammed or spammed. What you can do here is utilize your segmentation a bit more. So that's segmenting emails and email lists depending on what customers' actions they've taken. A really good example is non-purchases to one or more purchases. So if you did spin up an email campaign that's more targeted and more relevant to people that haven't purchased yet or haven't made their first purchase, then you would want to create that segment and send to those people only, for one of the email campaigns per week. So that's really good thing to think about if you do have a really large list size. But moving on to the actual campaign calendar here, really basic one that I just quickly put together. But generally, it's good practice to send more value emails than sale emails, so you're not overselling to your email list. So as you can see here, we're sending 1, 2, 3, value-based emails, educating the customer about your product, what you do, who you are, why they should buy your product. And then maybe you want to do a sales-focused email, so maybe like 10% off, a flash sale, or maybe just promoting a certain product. And again, just mixing those in, just sprinkling them in between value-based emails. Here's even like a sale for the month. So you do like a sale teaser, so no links, no anything. And then, just teasing everyone, letting them know that, hey, the sale's coming up tomorrow. Then, you would drop the big sale, people buy, you do one big last push urgency reminder, maybe 2 days later, and then you just go back and repeat with the value-based emails. If you're a store and you're not sure what kind of value-based emails to send, again, I have another video going over 36 different value-based email ideas that, again, you can find on my channel. Highly recommend you check that out because I even give you the document that has all of the value-based email ideas inside, and you can have a look and get a ton of inspiration from that as well. And that's this video right here if you want to check that out. So guys, that's our end of the video. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was valuable, especially if you're a beginner in Klaviyo and you're not really sure what you're doing. Now, at the start of the video, I did promise to any e-commerce stores watching this that we will actually build you out a free flow automation for your store. All you really need to do is book in a call. It's basically like a short little trial that we do for brands that we want to partner with long term. Here's some examples that we've done. Here's what the process kind of looks like. Basically just booking a call, we see if you're a fit or not, and then we'll build you out your new flow completely for free. To qualify, again, we're looking for e-commerce brands doing over 30k per month, and if you're open to potential of partnering with us long term. So again, the book a call thing, just in the link in the description, and we can get started. But if not, hope you guys learned something, and hopefully this video was helpful. If you do have any questions at all, please email me at kieran@compoundflows.com. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.